everybody. Merry Christmas. I'm coming to you from an undisclosed location. My attorney failed to show up to court on the 23rd, and thus a warrant was issued for my arrest. It's always unfortunate when you pay an attorney to show up for court and they don't. Particularly when there's a deal in place, or at least a path forward. And they dropped the ball. I have since had to fire my attorney, and I've retained new legal counsel. This video is more or less to publish a retraction of a statement I made about Melissa Nelson and her office being corrupt. I do not have proof that they are corrupt. And I think it's important that when you're wrong, you admit that you're wrong, and I was wrong to state that. I felt at the time that there was no other explanation for why I had been charged if they actually took a serious hard look at the evidence, the so-called evidence that they presented as discovery, when it's blatantly obvious from the evidence that I never intended to cause this woman harm. That's just fact. I was so completely caught off guard by being charged, because it was just shocking to me that you can't be serious. This can't be for real. And the person themselves being delusional and thinking that they could get away with this. It really is more them thinking they can get away with something than it is with them being delusional. I don't believe for an instant that this is something that the person themselves feels is just. They know it's not. And they know that in doing what they've done, that their fate, as far as I'm concerned, of ever having any remote chance in my life ever again is over. Which, for me to say that, is precisely why they filed to begin with. Had I known that the person was going to do something this severe, take actions this severe, I never ever, I would have kept, me moving on completely to myself. I would have never ever shared that I was making the decision to move on. After after eight breakups with the same person in 4 years, you get tired. You get wore out. It's nothing personal, except that it's deeply personal. When you've given all you can, and you've got no more. I had given all I could to this situation, and to this person. I gave my all, and more than I should have, reasonably. This person knows this, but is greedy and wanted more. This is not any kind of a way to have a relationship. This is not only is it not fair, it's not conducive towards keeping a relationship. It puts resentment in your heart. It makes you resent people like this immensely, and then you begin lashing out at others needlessly. This was abuse. This was extreme abuse, and it continues. And now the abuse is now utilizing the state of Florida to commit further abuse. And although Miss Nelson and her office are not corrupt, or I can't say that they aren't corrupt because I don't have proof that they're not, but I can say that I do not have proof of them being corrupt. They could be, I don't know. But I'm going to say that I don't have proof. And I never should have published that. And for that, I apologize. Sincerely. I was wrong. And I shouldn't have acted in desperation and thinking that just because someone refuses to read the facts and refuses to look at what they're using as evidence in its totality, I guess that doesn't make them corrupt, but it certainly poses the question of ineptitude. Not to insult or take away from the apology I am giving in having said they are corrupt. But there has to be an explanation as to why the proof that they stake their claim on shows my disinterest in ever causing harm to this person. Lines have been deleted from the so-called emails addressing people, specifically Tim Gasson. After he said he was going to place a wreath on my dead son's grave, me telling him I'm going to fuck you in the ass and make you my bitch for having said that. He's going to place a wreath on my dead son's grave to add insult to injury. He was told that the day he called DCF and said that I had sexually molested my son. He was told that I had also lost a son. My response to him saying that and calling DCF to say I'd sexually molested my son was to tell him, you know what, I'm gonna fuck you in the ass. I don't feel guilty for saying that to Tim Gasson. I never, ever said that to the petitioner. That wasn't for her. And the subsequent emails before that, and that email in its totality will prove it. The reasoning behind that is that he said I sexually molested my son to DCF. And it's fine, if it were Tim Gasson charging, getting a restraining order against me and saying that I had threatened him with physical bodily harm. I mean, I guess you could loosely say that anal sex is bodily harm. But there's an entire porn industry that, or at least a genre of porn industry that would beg to differ. Not that it's my thing, it's completely not. But it's embarrassing. It's very embarrassing that but it was in the heat of the day and what had occurred that day and what I had found out that day about what Tim Gasson had done that I said that. Did I ever think that anyone else other than Tim would read it? No. Did I ever think that it would become all of this? No. Did I ever actually intend to go hunt down Tim Gasson to make him my bitch? No. I'm not the type of person at all. I don't mind being considered somebody that runs mouth and talks trash or whatever if they're being constantly bullied on the internet nonstop. Literally could not open a single social app that I wasn't taunted. And I mean from dating apps like Match and Tinder to Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. I mean, you name it. I could not get on anything without being harassed by him and his friends. Night after night, they really thought this was funny. This was their pastime, was anytime I got on the internet, they were pretending to be people. Either interested in buying art from me or fake profiles of women hitting me up to flirt with me only to realize that they were toying with me. Like every time I attempted to move on from my ex, dating apps or whatever, these people came out of the woodwork. And it was it was night after night. Night after night. I'd get on at like 6 p.m. or something like that and stay on until 6 a.m. And the majority of the night, they would start to taper off around 3 o'clock in the morning. But Tim would stay on until about 6. Night after night. And when you call JSO and they're like, you don't even live here, we can't help you. After a while, I mean, nobody's going to help you, so, I mean, what are you going to do? This is online bullying run amok, and nobody can help you. So what do you do? Apparently not what I did. Although the things that were said to me were much worse than anything I ever said. The things that were not only said to me, but the things that were done to me. Like calling DCF, telling them that I sexually abused my child. Teaming up with my children's mother, who has nothing but an axe to grind because this woman cannot stand the fact that my life's turned out better without her. And that I did not love her as much as I loved someone else. I didn't. I thought she was mean. I thought she was mean-spirited. I thought she was mean in her soul. And she behaved ugly. It was absolutely horrible. I loved her to death at one point, but that only goes so far when someone continuously acts immature. And after a while, I realized that I'd done it twice. I'd gotten involved with the same type of girl twice. And that's really what it boiled down to. And why I am now embroiled in court is because the second person I wound up with has proven to be no different. Actually worse. I may have loved her more, but she's absolutely vicious to her core. That's who she is. Her point in choosing to date me was not for who I was as a person or how attractive I was or anything like that. It was because I had been blown up by Samsung. That was her entire intention, was that I had money coming. And she just denied it. But at the end of the day, we all know, everyone associated with the case, every attorney that has been here since the beginning of all of this legal battles with Samsung and 8 other defendants, everyone knows. Everyone can see it. The way she left left no doubt. This was a person who bailed the minute she thought that there wasn't going to be 8 figures. And she did. That very day when she operated off of only the information that was being given by a certain individual. That person kicked me out, summarily kicked me out for the 9th and final time. And she expected me to come back. She did. She expected me to be a good little boy and wait on the sideline. Whenever she was ready to and missed me, she was going to come back. And I don't know what her excuse would have been, but even she, if she really thought about it, it had been too much. She knows it deep in her heart. She knows. She had absolutely pushed her luck as far as it would go. And like I said before, I took the blame for the last one, even though I knew for a fact it was not about me. It was about what I had discovered. It was about this person that was known to me as doorknobs. Doorknobs. Because doorknobs were brought over to Cody Markham and Camlin D's house, the next door neighbors, by an individual. This individual a year later was put in somewhat of a photo lineup, like, because I didn't have any other name to operate off of other than doorknobs. I wanted to know who this person was because I knew the entire time I was with this petitioner there was another man in the relationship. I knew it. There's too many secrets, and there was the abruptness of which this person would pick fights. It wasn't smooth at all. It wasn't. It would happen without rhyme or reason. There was too many times, and the way in which her behavior was when we were apart, and the things she would say, how nonsensical they were. It just screamed, there's somebody else here. Somebody else is pulling puppet strings on this person. Somehow. I don't know how, but somehow I can tell I'm not in a relationship with just one person. Which, oddly enough, it being only her and I in the relationship was something of an obsession, kind of. Like, she wanted to make sure it was just her and I in this relationship. And now looking back on it, the more that something was just supposed to be between her and I, and it being something that she was so obsessed about, it's because she, the entire time, had someone else involved in the relationship. And they were working me. They were working me to get the money for my settlements. They didn't care what I'd been through. They didn't care. None of that mattered. They didn't care, like, that I lost my boys. They didn't care that my life had been turned upside down. I didn't deserve the money more than they did. I had no flesh on my leg that was viable. 22 skin grafts, almost 240 staples, some lodged in bone. Having to have every single one of them plucked from me without IV pain meds. Without IV pain meds. The kind of pain that I face, genital burns. I know what torture is. I learned it. Quite familiar with it. These folks thought he doesn't deserve to get money. Not money like that. That money should be our money. And the sneakiness in which she chose to operate, it, whether she wants to accept it or not, she didn't do that great of a job hiding what she did. It was always there in the back of my mind that she could be screwing with me. One of my friends said that he picked up an energy off of her directly when meeting her, and that he felt there was a possibility she could be like an Agent Smith from the Matrix. You know, all of a sudden morph into the enemy because she didn't have a strong enough conviction in her soul to make decisions that were permanent and singular about her own life. She was capable of allowing other people to control her. He picked that up, and I had no idea how prophetic that would turn out to be, because he was absolutely right. That's exactly what she turned out to be. Hindsight being 2020, man. That's rough. That's rough, because I really believed in this person. And now I know, to the degree that I know torture, I now know disappointment. Sorry, I had a phone call come in. Yeah. So I'm not looking back. The only thing that causes me to look back is court, which keeps this person exactly what she wants. It's giving her exactly what she wants. She wants to stay somehow relevant in my life. And, you know, although, as stated before, Melissa Nelson's office might not be corrupt, they are certainly allowing abuse to continue. Doesn't matter who reported what. The truth is that this woman is abusing the system to get exactly what she wants. And they're helping her do it. And it's a miscarriage of justice. Whether my attorney shows up for court or not is immaterial. This woman is a covert narcissist. Nobody leaves her. She leaves them. And she can't even remember that she's the one that left. She has to lie to herself and say, well, I wasn't exactly leaving you. I was putting you on ice. And then when I was done running the streets, I was going to come back for you. Well, I don't want that kind of relationship. I never did. Matter of fact, she knew I wanted exactly the opposite. So now I just want this over. I just wanted the relationship over. If she wasn't going to change her ways and seek to become a better person, because I knew she was doing this. You can't live with somebody for 4 years, get kicked out 8 times, and called back 8 times, and on the 9th time, not be done. I had hope that she was ready to change. I emailed her because I was never directly told the relationship was over. There was never any closure. I was just ghosted after 4 years. That being said, if I have any regrets, it's that I ever bothered to try to give her second chances, third chances, and 9th chances. I should not have done that. This person has proved time and time again they are not deserving of my love. And I should have respected my love enough to put it into myself and leave. And leave it alone. And never, ever respond or look back. And next time I will do that if it happens. I hope that I don't end up dating anyone that is narcissist. Right now, I am in counseling, working on codependency and trauma therapy. Nobody teaches you what you're supposed to do when you're changing life stations. Nobody tells you the rule book for it. That people of all kinds of walks of life will come after you. That you have a target on the back of your head. They don't tell you that. So, like I said, I never played the lottery. But now I know why. Dangerous people will show up in your life. And if you're not prepared for it, it could be the worst thing that ever happened to you. Promise. Merry Christmas. Be appreciative of everything you have in your life. I am. Even though my freedom is about to be taken from me over false allegations. And because my idiot attorney, who can't even show up for court, couldn't answer 17 missed phone calls in 3.5 months, me trying to get him to prepare for the deposition, that I lost faith in him completely, totally lost faith in him, and thought, maybe this person can be rational, and I can say, look, you're driving me to the point that you're going to have me incarcerated again, and I can't live through that again. I can't go back behind bars. I'm not a criminal. You leave me with no other options other than ending my life. And I don't want to die. Can't we just agree not to speak to each other anymore? You go your way, I'll go mine. Can we not agree to that? I mean, if that's what you want so bad, that's what you're telling the prosecution you want so bad, why can't we just agree to that and walk away? I don't ever care to see or hear from this person ever again for as long as I live. Ever. The level of just absolute, pure, unbridled evil that her actions show, the ruthlessness, the viciousness, the just downright mean. Nobody ever, it's the most unattractive thing I've ever seen in all my life. Nobody wants to ever be with anybody like that. It's disgusting. It's trash. I've never treated anyone the way this person has treated me. This person, if I had treated this person, even in one instance, how they treated me, they never would have been there. She knows she would have been gone long before then. But this is what a brat does. This is how a brat behaves. And Miss Nelson's office is being abused by a brat to destroy an innocent man's life. Miss Nelson's office might not be corrupt, but they are unintentionally condoning bullying. And they are unintentionally condoning stalking, cyber stalking, which I have a mountain of evidence proving this person and her friends and her stepdaddy, foster daddy, baby daddy, foster daddy, a man that carries both titles, foster father to the girl and her baby daddy. Yep. Cyberbullying, cyber stalking. He's committed it. And I'm charged with stalking by email. Although I don't know how you stalk somebody by email. It's harassment, maybe. But I don't have an email that says that if I don't stop contacting her by email, she's going to say it's harassment or whatever. I wanted to hold a mirror up to her actions and her behavior and look into what I could find out about the past 4 years and inform her of what I was able to find out. All I did was public record search, and I kept searching all the databases I could find and see what was out there. I found out she lied on her taxes and has committed tax fraud since 2016 with Knowles Aviation. There's no Knowles Aviation, yet she continuously files. So she does this. I'm reporting that to the IRS. I'm going to do that today. Merry Christmas.